Season 4 of Brockmire is like buying gas station sushi in landlocked Iowa. It seems like a good idea at first, but once you dig in, you know you're in for a bumpy ride. What's good, everyone? I'm Cappy Tans and welcome to the channel. Now today we're going to be reviewing Brockmire. Brockmire stars Hank Azaria as the main character, Jim Brockmire. Jim Brockmire is a baseball guy. Brockmire is a play-by-play announcer for the Major League Baseball team, the Kansas City Royals, who has a major flame out. Now this epic meltdown happens in 2007, and he's eventually fired, which leads him on this 10-year crazy journey, which we really don't get a whole lot of details on. But we pick up with him in 2017 as he's joining a minor league team as an announcer. Before we continue, I want to touch on Brockmire's origin as a show all up. The original concept for the show started off as a viral comedy sketch on Funny or Die. The sketches did so well, they picked it up and turned it into a full-fledged network 4-season program. That's like every content creator's dream, which, to be honest, isn't surprising for Hank Azaria. If you ever watched an episode of Simpsons, you've heard one of his iconic voices, and there's a million of them. It also doesn't hurt that he's hilarious. Case in point, I had never even heard of Brockmire. Now, I'm listening to a radio show. I know you're thinking to yourself, who listens to radio anymore? I do. I'm old. Leave me alone. And Hank Azaria comes on the show and does lines as Brockmire. He was so effing hilarious that I had to check out the show. Brockmire comes to town, Morristown to be more specific, and he meets the owner, Jules, played by Amanda Peet. Now again, I knew nothing about this show, so when I saw Amanda Peet, I was pleasantly surprised, because not only is she a great actor, but she also holds a special place in my heart. I first came across Amanda Peet when I was about 12 or 13 in a movie called The Whole 9 Yards. And in that movie, I saw my first pair of, let's just say her performance was breathtaking. Did I really just say breathtaking? Anyway, Jules brings Brockmire to town in order to save her team. What Brockmire doesn't know is in those 10 years, he's become a bit of an internet celebrity for his meltdown. Now, Brockmire has no clue what Jules is talking about. So she enlists the help of Charles, played by Tyrel Jackson Williams. Charles shows Brockmire these internet videos, and he is in utter disbelief. What he also doesn't know is that Charles, who's a 17-year-old black kid who hates baseball, is going to be his senior producer. And you think you may have heard of this story before. This is a redemption story, and we're going to get back on top. This is a drunken, drug-fueled cluster you-know-what. For example, within the first 4 episodes, Brockmire makes Charles, a 17-year-old kid, take psychedelics. It's things like this, along with Hank Azaria's wonderful one-liners, that makes this show hilarious.
This is my normal face.
No, that's your worried face. That's the face you make when I peel the labels off my pill bottles and play chemical roulette with myself.
The show was also aided by the relationship built between these 3 characters, Jules, Brockmire, and Charles. Brockmire and Charles have this father-son relationship, but in the most negligent way possible. Brockmire makes Charles, a 17-year-old kid, take psychedelics. Jules and Brockmire have a relationship, but in that way where you have 2 friends that you don't ever want to date again. Charles and Jules do have this mentor, wholesome relationship sometimes, but again, it's the worst role model possible outside of Brockmire. However, it is these relationships that makes the show hilarious. Much to my chagrin though, they kind of deviate away from these relationships as the show goes on. Seasons 1 and 2 are phenomenal. I guarantee you'll laugh a ton in these 2 seasons. But then season 3 deviates a little bit away from that formula, and then season 4 completely deviates. Season 4 of Brockmire is like buying gas station sushi in landlocked Iowa. It seems like a good idea at first, but once you dig in, you know you're in for a bumpy ride. I get what they were going for in season 4, it just doesn't work, unfortunately. So, with all that being said, it's time to break out the KISS scale. No, not that KISS, the keep it simple, stupid scale. I think Brockmire is worth your time. It's not a must watch because of seasons 3 and seasons 4. There's a scene in season 2 alone at the end of a podcast recording that is worth watching the show for. If you've seen the show, let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. Be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe for more content covering TV, movies, and games. Until next time, I'm Cappy Tans. Deuces.